Hey everybody, welcome to your 45-minute Reformer Sculpt Workout. We have 45 minutes together to target the entire body. The goal for today's workout is to really challenge ourselves, but as always, keep it safe and make sure it feels fair to your body. So we are going to be going for higher reps and heavier springs, but during the workout, assess if that works for your body. And I'll shout out some different options for spring loads and different ways to modify the exercises so you get the best workout for your body. All right, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. We're gonna do heavy spring load for footwork. So for me, I'm gonna do 3 reds and a blue. That for me definitely gives me a good burn. You can always go a little heavier or a little lighter than that. We'll start by lying on down and taking your feet nice and wide on the foot bar. So with the heels planted on the foot bar and the toes flexed back, you're gonna find almost like a plie squat position. The knees are slightly turned out. You're heavy through your hips, and just take a moment to connect to your breath. You can close your eyes here and just let your whole back body melt into the reformer. Take nice full inhales and nice slow controlled exhales. And on your next exhale, I want you to push the foot bar away on your out breath, and then inhale, bring the carriage back home. So using that exhale for power, inhale, come back in. So you want a good enough spring load here to right away feel the legs respond. But again, you can go lighter or heavier based on how that feels for you. Think about pushing the foot bar into the wall, through the wall that's in front of you. So you really want that nice drive out and away with the heels as the ribs drop to the ground. That's going to keep your core active. Easy shoulders. Exhale to push out. And just check in that both legs are doing equal work. It's super normal to start to favor one side. Just notice when it happens. Come right back to the center. We're going for some sensation, so keep on pushing. A few more here. Last 3. 2, 1, and then halfway in. Small pulses here. So remember, when we're pulsing, it's that controlled movement both out and in, not a bounce. So our muscles have to really control the movement, making them sizzle, start to talk back. That's a good thing. Relax your shoulders, heavy through your heels. Few inches out, few inches in. So even though there's a burn happening, the rest of the body stays relaxed and calm. Keep pulsing for 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the carriage all the way out. Whew. Feels like Pilates. Bring the carriage back in. Slide your feet so they're now parallel, so they're underneath the hip joint. We still have our heels in the foot bar and our toes flexed back. Take an inhale to prepare. And then exhale, push the foot bar away. Inhale, exhale, push. Same thing here. Think about sending the foot bar away. Don't be afraid of straightening the knees, but notice if you're bouncing into the back of the leg. See how that's disconnected? We want to avoid the disconnect. We want to stay in our muscles. So as you stretch your heels away from you, can you feel that like tautness through the whole leg? The quads are active, the shins are active. I think if you imagine your knees like the spring, so that stretch from the top of the hip through the heel, that'll keep you from just locking out and not keeping your muscles active. Keep this going. Exhale for power. Inhale to fold. High reps. It's a wonderful place to really find a good burn. Also, high repetitions gives us an opportunity to really focus on our form. So you can get that nice consistency, folding deeply at your hips, relaxing through your shoulders. You should be feeling some work through the tops of your feet into your shins because they're working hard. A few more here. Last 2. Last 1. Come halfway in. Give me small pulses. Breathe into your back. So we want to keep that concentrated work. This quads will be working here. Strong quads means strong knees. So let them work for you. take a moment to make sure that your neck, your jaw, your shoulders, they're not trying to help you. They stay relaxed. The work is in the legs. The work is in your core. 3, 2, 1, and push all the way out. Whew. Sizzle. Walk up to the ball mounds of your feet. And from here, we do the same kind of action we were just doing with the lifted heel. So bending the knees, think toe squat, and push the carriage back out. Now the height of your heel is totally individual. It doesn't need to be crazy high, but you do want to have your heels higher than the foot bar. And I want you to feel that same pressure through both feet. So make sure equal pressure through both of your ball mounds of your feet are pushing the foot bar across the room. Big breath. Folding deeply at your hips. Just remind yourself that your legs are very strong, very powerful. They have so much potential while still having that beautiful, calm control that we want in our Pilates workouts, while still challenging the strength of our legs. And as always, during this workout, listen to your body. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you need to change your spring loads, change your spring loads. So you can keep moving, and it should feel challenging but fair. A few more just like this. 3, 2. Last one. Whew, halfway in, you know what's next. Pulses. Again, make sure the tension doesn't creep into the shoulders. Keep it in the legs. Now that we're on the balls of our feet, it's very quad centric. That is a good thing. Our quads, I know sometimes we're afraid to train our quads. Don't be afraid to train your quads. Strong quads, strong knees. 3, 2, 1. Push all the way out. And let the heels drop under the foot bar. Whew. Nice deep stretch for your calves here. Let your legs rest for a moment. You can pedal through the feet if that feels nice, kind of like your prances, but just slower. So the focus is the stretch. Or you can keep both feet under the foot bar and just stay with your breath. One more big breath. And let's bend the knees and bring the carriage home. If you had your headrest up, just make sure it's down so your neck is neutral. We're about to go into some hip bridging. So if you want to make this more challenging, you can go ahead and drop down to 2 red springs or 1 red and a blue spring. The lighter the spring load is for your hip bridges, the more challenging. I'm going to keep my spring load on because I find my low back prefers that. But just know if you're looking for more of a challenge, lighter spring load is going to make it'll make this a lot harder. So you can play with that. We're going to have our heels sitting bones distance, hands by your side. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, curl through your spine all the way up to the shoulder blades. At the top, take another big breath in. And then exhale, shoulder blades down, heavy through your heart, heavy through your rib cage, all the way down to your tailbone. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, scoop under. Your abs initiate. Stand down into both of your feet. Lift high to your shoulder blades. And then melt back down on your next exhale. Whew, I'm already feeling my hamstrings. So take your time. The pattern of your breath here is to inhale at the bottom. Exhale on your way up. At the very top, you'll stay for your inhale. And exhale, move again. Just keep that going at your own pace. Keep thinking of those feet pressing down into the foot bar so you can feel both your glutes and your hamstrings fire up. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Rolling down with control, really trying to let the heart drop before your hips, which can always feel a little bit tricky because it is a coordination exercise. So the more you do it, even though your muscles get tired, the smoother that roll through will happen. But at the very top of every hip bridge, I like to think my heart gets heavy before my hips do anything. I'm gonna exhale my heart into the floor, and I'm lingering my tailbone because it's the last thing to come down, which is gonna give me that deeper articulation through the spine. 2 more. You want to feel your hamstrings respond. You also want to feel your glutes work. If your low back gets a little dramatic, I would just back off how high you go and make sure that you do have a heavy spring load. The heavier springs on this will help stabilize the low back, make it a little bit more accessible. Coming all the way back down after your last rep, and just shake out the legs. You can rock the knees right to left. It can feel kind of good to stretch those hamstrings out a little bit. Give them a little pep talk because we're not done with them. We're going back in. This time, do the same setup. Heels back on the foot bar. You're going to inhale to start and exhale to roll up. And then stay here at the top of your hip bridge and start to march the legs. One knee in at a time. Step it firmly down onto the foot bar. And from here, you might be like, okay, this is great, but what else can we do to make it more challenging? You can take your hands up to the ceiling. Great way to really fire up your deep core. Make those hamstrings have to work like crazy. If that feels too shaky, then keep your hands back down. And just like our previous exercise, lighter springs on this one will actually make it more challenging. So find what works for you. Big breath. As you march your legs, that foot that remains on the foot bar, you have to really actively push it into the ground. So our attention isn't just focused on the knee that's lifting. It should be firmly in and focused in on the foot that stays on the foot bar, because that's the side we're really working, the supporting leg. Two more, and we're doing a lot of these. It's good practice. We want to feel a bit of muscle fatigue. Big inhale at the top. Exhale, roll all the way down. Same things here. You can rock the knees right to left to give the low back a break. Or maybe the hamstrings need some more love. You can stretch the legs to the sky. Take what feels good. All right, one more series with feet on the foot bar. Back into our hip bridge. You're gonna exhale, just do a straight lift this time. Don't worry about the articulation. And bring your left knee into your chest. You can be flexed or pointed at the top foot, doesn't matter. We're focusing on that right leg on its own. It's gonna drop straight down and push straight up to the sky. So it's your right glute and hamstring working on that strong hip extension all by itself. Good. I want you to think of a little bit of a pressure sandwich, if that makes sense. I want your abdominals below your navel to be pressing in towards your spine. At the same time, the pressure of your glutes and your hamstrings are driving you up. So there's two oppositional amounts of power happening. I'm driving my glutes and hamstrings up, up, up to the sky. At the same time, my exhale helps compress my abdominals back and towards my low back. 2 more. Whew, feels like work. And come down. Take a second. Big breath, shake it out. All right, so much fun we do it twice. Second hip. And if you're like me, the left hip struggles a little bit. That's why it's so good for us to do the single leg work. Let's come up with both legs. So bridge up first with both legs, and then take the right knee to the chest. Your left hip goes straight down. Exhale straight up. Inhale. Exhale. Think of that opposing pressure. When I exhale, it drives my glutes to the sky, but it also drives my deep abs to the spine. Keep the shoulders relaxed, muscles of your face relaxed. Drive that left foot into the floor. Last 3. We got 2 more. We got this.
If it's shaking, it's working. One more. And come down. Whew, hug your knees into your stomach, into your chest. Give that low back a little stretch. All right, before we move on, I'm going to scoot down a little bit. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left thigh. Think of that figure 4 shape and just rock right to left. And if you're pretty loose through your hips, you might not feel much stretch here. You can always just thread the hands through and pull the shape in and then do the same rotation. But for me, I find this is just enough to get that outer hip. So play with it so you feel the release. And then we'll switch sides. Right foot on the foot bar, left ankle over the right thigh. Either keep the foot on the foot bar or pull the shape in towards your body. And gently rock right to left. Great stretch for your low back and your outer glutes. Breathe. All right, we're coming back up to change our spring load. Use your arms and abs, scoot on up. I'm gonna pop on my yellow and drop everything else so I only have one red and one yellow spring. So one of your heavier springs and your lightest spring is where I'm going for, because we want a little bit of resistance, nothing crazy, because we're doing high reps for this one. But again, if you want to go a little heavier, you can do a red and blue. You can do 2 reds if you're feeling crazy. Just listen to your body. It should be challenging but fair and not interrupt your good technique. All right, so lay on down. Take your short straps into your hands. We're going to go into our abdominal work, our mid-back work, all that good stuff. So you're going to have your hands in the short straps if you have the option, right above your chest with your knees at tabletop. You're going to take an inhale to begin, and then an exhale to press and curl the body up. Slowly coming back down. Real simple ab curl. Now, for your knee placement, our goal is to get our knees to 90 degrees. But if that bothers your low back or causes your hip flexors to become really dramatic, you can take your knees closer to your body. There's nothing wrong with slightly adjusting that tabletop position. You want to work hard, but you don't want your hips and low back to take all the glory right now when we want to focus on our breath and our abs. So play around with that position so you feel like you can maintain it for a while. 2 more. Last one, you're going to stay lifted. Curl up and stay up. Single leg stretch from your mat work. So 1 foot across the room, right across that foot bar, opposite knee to your chest. Inhale and exhale. Keep punching into the straps. Inhale and exhale. Can you get a little higher with your heart? Inhale, exhale. Reach, reach, reach. Beautiful, strong legs. Punch through the straps. Reach your chest up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down and take a pause. Whew. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I like to take my arms to the side. I feel like it's a lovely chest stretch. You can even take the knees open. And just take a moment to reconnect to your breath. We're going to go right back into how we started. Hands back above the chest, push into those springs. Knees above the hips, back to your basic curl. Exhale, curl the body up. Inhale, melt the body down. Exhale, curl. And melt. At any time, if you want to modify, you can always keep your head down for any of these curls, right? Because you're still working your mid-back, you're still working your core. So when in doubt, leave the head down on the mat. Let's take 1 more and stay. And now we have our double leg stretch. So take both feet high on the diagonal. Exhale, fold them towards your chest. Inhale, high on the diagonal. Exhale, fold them in. Think of your feet piercing the opposite wall. I'm punching into my straps to get a little higher. It should feel like fitness. Let's go. 4 more. Long arms, easy neck. Last 2. Final 1. And roll down. Whew. Take a breath. Arms can rest wide. Feet can rest on the foot bar. Reconnect to your breath. All right, we got coordination next. So if you found yourself kind of wiggled back into the shoulder blocks, come on down a bit. Let's bring our knees deeply into our chest and then press your hands down at the carriage. Bend your elbows. I like to think of these like little robot arms, and then curl your body up. So you want to be in this nice little tight shape. I'm going to inhale everything. And then I'm going to exhale my knees. Keep exhaling the arms. It's a 2-part exhale. Inhale everything across the room. And then take the knees and the arms. Inhale everything. Exhale knees. Keep exhaling arms. Look to the opposite wall. Reach those feet powerfully. Bend them in on the exhale. Continue with the arms. 3 more. Inhale everything. Exhale knees. Exhale arms. You got this. Stay strong. 2 more. Everything long. Exhale knees. Exhale arms. 1 more. And let it go. Whew. Big breath. Feet rest, arms rest. We're going to slowly let go of the straps. If they're like mine, you can just drop them on the floor or hang them up to the post or shoulder blocks. Use your arms and core to come on up and drop down to just 1 heavy spring. We're going to do a kneeling plank on the foot bar. So position yourself so your knees are on the carriage and your feet are up against the shoulder blocks and your hands are wide on the foot bar. We want to be in a position that almost looks like down stretch, but we're not doing the extension. We're just going to be in a modified plank. So if you can find a plank line from the top of your head to your knees, pull your abs up and in, and then begin to slide the carriage open. Think a little Superman flying over the spring. Exhale, pull yourself back in. Inhale, slide yourself back. Exhale, bring yourself back in. To challenge yourself further, you can go to a lighter spring. So if you did this on a blue or even a yellow, it's gonna be way less support and way more challenge. And just make sure that when you go for a more challenging spring load, whatever that might mean for you, that you're able to still have your best form. So it's always a little bit of a dance by challenging yourself, because you should, it's good, but making sure you can still keep your best technique. Inhale, press long. Exhale, pull in. A few more here. Keep the neck loose, shoulders out of your ears. Last 2. You should feel your abs and your chest and your back. Last 1. The shake is good. And then take a break. Toes between the shoulder blocks. Take any variation of child's pose. You can keep the arms up on the foot bar, or you can rest your hands and arms down on the mat. Breathe into your back. You're going to go right back in. So you have 2 options. You can do exactly what we just did, just that plank rollout, if that felt challenging enough. But if you'd like to add more, we'll do our plank rollout. We'll come back into where we started and give me a push-up where you try to get your rib cage down to the foot bar. So I'm pushing out long. Exhale, coming back in. Inhale, drop into the push-up. Exhale, push the foot bar away. And let's say you want to go for the push-up, but it's feeling really challenging. There is no shame in a little baby push-up, right? That still triggers the same movement pattern and the muscles that we want to get stronger. So even if your push-up is small, I challenge you to at least try a little one to get those triceps to fire up, the chest to light up. Take your time. Quality form, deep breath. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale lower. Exhale push. Let's do 2 more sets. You got this. Long spring. Strong chest, strong core. Push, push, push. Lengthen the body long. Bring your body back in. Lower down. Press it up. And child's pose. Same little recovery. Let the body rest. Relax the shoulders. Reconnect to your breath. All right, changing your spring load. I'm gonna go to a blue. You can actually do the standing lunges on a red. It would be a great spring load. With the IQ Reformer, mine tends to slide around on the ground with a heavier spring, and I also find that blue is just perfect for my body. So go for a heavy spring or slightly lighter, so red or blue, for your standing lunges. We're gonna go on the right-hand side. This works also if you're on a taller reformer. So if your reformer's up off the ground and that more standard size of a reformer, standard height, you can do the exact same thing. It'll just look a little bit different. You're gonna have your right foot on the ground and your left foot up against the shoulder block. And even if you're standing with a taller reformer, you're trying to keep your left knee off the carriage without turning your hips side. So you wanna keep your hips square, but the body weight is in your right foot and your left foot, not in your knee. You're gonna kick the carriage out, get nice, long, and low, and then come all the way back up. Again, pressing long and low. It can be really helpful to reach your left hand to tap the foot bar just to feel that sensation of how far and how low can you go with some stability from the reformer. But once you have the hang of it, your hands can go wherever you'd like. They can be on your waist, they can be at your heart center. You can have them both reaching to the foot bar. Take what feels best to you. Exhale to lunge. Inhale, stand tall, head right above the hips. A few more here. Go for your deepest lunge that you can. Restack your spine every time you stand up. Last one, stay low. I'm gonna take my left hand to the foot bar for a little bit of stability for our scooters. Fold your left knee in, press it back out. Fold it in, press it back out. If you find that you don't need the support of the left hand, then take it away. You'll notice that right quad and outer glute, hamstring and calf has to work a whole lot harder, and that's the goal. We want to feel the standing leg work like crazy to stabilize the body. Left leg looks fancy, but it's really not doing all the work. The stabilizing hip is. Breathe big, easy shoulders. A few more here. 2, 1, and then come all the way up. Whew. All right into that second side. You can either walk around or step on over. Left foot on the ground, right foot against the shoulder block. Start tall, beautiful proud posture, and then kick on out. You can use the hand with the foot bar to see how low can you go. Give yourself that little bit of support and come back up. Think of the length from the top of your head to your back foot, taking it over the entire room. So really reaching my back heel all the way, the crown of my head all the way, and then coming back on top of my left hip. So big transition for the body. Long and low, and then stack it tall. Whew. Hopefully you're feeling that left glute by now. If not, it's coming. And as you're doing this lunge, just be mindful of that right leg that's pushing the shoulder block. You need some pressure to move the spring, especially if you have a heavier spring on. But you don't want to use anything extra, right? Moving the spring load is half of the exercise. I would say that half, if not more, of the exercise is the focus of the standing hip. That standing leg should be taking most of your attention and most of your body weight. Get low. Few more here. All right, last one. We stay low and isolate. Everyone's favorite, scooters. Here we go. Arms can go wherever you want. You can have one on the foot bar for a little bit of stability. Whew. If you feel like you're too far away, like I am, I'm going to scoot forward just a bit more. You want to be able to keep that knee on top of your ankle. Feel the burn through your left glute. We've got this. Embrace the shake, embrace the burn. We got 4 more. Let's do it. 3, 2, last one. It's always the most intense when you come out of it. Whew, take a moment and breathe. All right, take a seat on your carriage. Again, the same spring load options for this one. You can do a blue or a red. We're gonna be doing bicep curls, upper back, triceps, so choose accordingly. I'm gonna keep myself on my blue. Take your short straps with you. And let's extend our legs through the shoulder blocks. Either the ankles can be crossed or they can be right by each other. I can't quite fit. My calves don't have anywhere to go, so I like to do that more traditional crossed ankle position. Make sure you have a little bit of space behind your tailbone so we can curl into the abs and then into the arms. Stay in this little half curl as you lift your chest up on the diagonal and keep your elbows up off your t-shirt. Strong connection with the abs and the arms. This should be a tough one. It might not be the heaviest bicep curl in the world, but it's that combination of arms working with your abs. If you find your neck starts to take over, I'm a big believer in coming up, shaking things out, little reset, and coming back in. So we want the higher reps, but notice when your form starts to kind of fall away from you and your neck starts to take over, take a little shake out, come back in. We got this. Exhale, curl. Reach those legs strong through the shoulder blocks. Use your exhale for power. Last 3, let's go. Less shoulders, more abs. Last one, best one. And come all the way up. Whew. Shake things out. I'm gonna cross my ankles the other direction so I can kind of balance out the hips. Cross the cables. And for this one, I like to actually scoot back a bit. So when I start, I already have tension in the cables. Now you can do this in the short straps or the long straps. You can play around with which resistance feels best. We're gonna pull the arms apart, a little lower than the shoulders, to target your mid-back. Think of it like a back fly. Exhale, pull. Inhale, melt back. Same thing here. Feel that neck take over? Shake it out. Now this, I do find that a red spring is pretty aggressive on this one, so I would recommend blue, maybe even yellow, so that you're not just using the top of your shoulders for the whole thing. We want to try and target lower and right between the shoulder blades. So that's always a good thing to keep in mind when you're picking your spring loads, is that, okay, it should be challenging, but is it in the right muscle group? And here we want to feel it challenging in the rear deltoid and right between the shoulder blades. And as I get tired, I can feel it kind of travel up the neck, and so I'll go to my longer straps and give myself a little bit more space. Beautiful posture, reach through your legs, exhale for power. A few more here, and then we'll get into those triceps. Last 2. Final one. And relax. Whew. Big breath into your back. We're going to uncross the cables and come up to a kneeling position. Now, just a reminder, anytime we're doing kneeling work on the Reformer, take your time and be really careful. That should be always the case with Reformer work. But as someone who sometimes forgets and likes to crank through, you can send your body off balance. So as you grab up on the ropes and send your hips back, just go cautiously. Yeah, hips are back, heart is lifted. So right away when I keep my heart lifted, that's gonna help counterbalance my body so I don't do a somersault I didn't plan. You're gonna kick back your triceps, and then here's the place you really wanna control. So always approach any of this kneeling work, any balance work on the Reformer with slow consistency. That's gonna allow your body time to recognize how it's moving on the Reformer. It can brace for those changes. And that's how we get our deep core to work. So it's working deep inside our body, near our spine, to help stabilize us. While you're here, just check out where your chin is at. Sometimes as we get tired, we like to look down towards our knees. So keep looking out towards the back of the reformer, right where the pulleys are. Back of your neck is long. Think nice and broad through your upper back. Use the breath. Exhale, reach with the pinkies. Fold at the elbows. Few more here, you got this. 3, abs in tight. 2. Last 1. And then come all the way up and give yourself a little break. Whew. Roll out your neck a little bit side to side. Reconnect to your breath. All right, big transition. Go ahead and hang up or drop your straps. Grab your long box and place it over the carriage. We get it nice and snug up against the shoulder blocks, or if you have a reformer where it can fit over the shoulder blocks, you can do that too. We're gonna face the headrest. Be on a single blue for this one or lighter. That's gonna be my recommendation. And then once we get into it, if you wanna upgrade, you're welcome to. But just so you can start nice and safe, we're gonna be kneeling on the carriage, on the box, taking this long strap, choke up on the rope so you have some slack, because this long strap's gonna go over our right foot. You might know where I'm going with this. Some intense but great booty work. With the long strap on your right foot, hands under your shoulders, walk your knees back so they're right under your hips. Now, before we do anything, the rope does tend to get in our way, so my suggestion is to take your whole body a little bit to the right and let your right knee be wider than your hip when you go to move. Exhale, push the right strap behind you, and then bend the right knee a little bit wider than the hip. Exhale, step into the strap. Inhale, fold. This one is tough. If you haven't done it before, take your time. And at any moment, you are welcome to drop your knee, take a breath, and come back in. Exhale, power into that right foot. Inhale, fold deeply at your hip crease. While you're here, you want to take actually a little bit more body weight in your right arm than your left. And imagine you could balance a book on the back of your head, so it maintains that nice long neckline. Keep this going. Exhale, send your foot back. Inhale, fold in. Exhale, send your foot back. Fold it in. Last 2. Last 1. Take a pause, let the knee drop down. Give yourself a little reset. That one can be tough, not just on the glutes, but I feel it in my core, my chest. It's definitely a full body move. This one, you're gonna drop down to your left forearm and turn open to the side. I'm letting my knee almost like a hydrant lift to the side. It doesn't have to be super high. I'm gonna kick towards the front corner of my foot bar and then fold the right elbow, or my right knee towards my right elbow. Rest through the foot, fold it in. Now I know this one can feel a little bit awkward, so start with just the most basic concept through your hips. Think of your squat. So both hips should have a nice deep crease at the hip socket. We're folding, and then I want you to push through your heel. Now try to open your chest towards the wall you're facing, and again, drive your foot towards that front corner of the foot bar. You should be feeling both glutes. Your supporting left glutes working like crazy to try and keep you stable on the box. Your right glute's working like crazy to push that strap away. Exhale for power. 3. My right arm's working a ton too to help stabilize me. Last one, best one. And come back in. Whew. Take the strap off your right foot. Take a moment. You can either cat-cow here on the box or take a child's pose. Whatever feels like the best little recovery between sides. Breathe. All All right, second side. I know we're excited, right? Gotta be even. So grab that left strap, choke on up. So you got some good slack in it to hook over your left foot. Walk your hands and your knees back so they're directly underneath your shoulders and hips. And just like on the first side, anticipate you will need some room for that rope. So left knee is a tiny bit wider than your hip, not a ton. Exhale, step into the strap. Inhale, fold. Exhale, and fold. Now you can encourage a really deep fold in that left hip crease as long as it's not rounding your back, right? Because we want to isolate the hip, keeping our spine neutral and folding and pumping the left leg. Can you favor your left arm just a little bit more? This one makes everything shake in my body. It's good for us. It's a good power move. But we can optimize it. So if you find that everything's working really hard, that's a good thing. But notice if your neck and your jaw are gripping, let that go. Think broad into your upper back. Use the power of your exhale to send that energy out through your foot. Last two. Last one. And then come on down. Whew. All right, drop to your right forearm, return to the side. And again, you don't have to be crazy turned out with the hips. You want to make sure it feels doable for your body. Pump your left foot towards the front corner of the foot bar and then fold. I'm trying to keep nice broad upper back. I'm pushing down with my right forearm. I'm supporting strongly with my left hand while trying to encourage my hips to open towards the side wall. Fold at your left hip. Push through your left foot. Think of your left knee aiming towards your left elbow. A few more here. We got this. Last two. One more. And come back in. Holy moly. Feels like fitness. Taking the strap off your foot, keeping the same blue spring. We're going to slowly transition to take a seat on the box with the feet on the headrest. All right, rocking and rolling. We're going to choke up pretty high on the ropes, kind of like where you would hold for pulling straps near the tape or near the knots. Come forward a bit so you have some space behind your knees, and you can sit tall on your sitting bones. You can either be on your heels or the balls of your feet. You can choose. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, roll through your spine. Rolling back. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, rolling back up. So we're working those deep core muscles. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll. Right when you get before the shoulder blades, take an inhale. And then exhale. Think of your abs and your arms helping you up, but not so much your shoulders, right? Exhale to move. We're trying to roll through our waistband. Right where it feels kind of sticky, I want you to stay and breathe into your back. And then exhale. Shake, shake, shake. It's a good thing. So as we go through these, you'll notice again, traps, they're not a bad muscle. They just like to take over. So as you're going through it, notice when they become overly involved and give them permission to let go. And instead, dive into your core. Let those muscles lift you up. Rolling through. All right, we're gonna roll back and stay back. Right to the waistband. Taking your right leg up and then your left leg to join. We're gonna slowly extend the body long and then exhale, your abs pull you in. So my arms are just kind of dead weight. I'm using my core to move everything. Whew, yep. So we're gonna inhale long, curl the tailbone under, exhale. Let's do a few more, we got this. Inhale. It's our grand finale. So even though it's not quite your teaser, I want you rolling through your back as if it was, right? So we're going through the sacrum. Last one. Exhale. And feet rest down. Relax over your legs. You can drop the straps and just breathe. Sit cross-legged on your long block, so just turn to face the side. Take a second to realign your spine, shoulders right on top of your hips. We'll take a big side stretch over to your right, up and over. Breathe. And then slowly come back up. Same thing, other side, up and over to your left. Reach, reach, reach. And then slowly come back up. Take both arms together overhead, big inhale. Exhale, find your heart center. And you are all done. Awesome job, everybody. Thank you for working hard. Every workout counts, every rep counts, so be proud of yourself for taking the time to take care of your body. I am sweating. I hope you are too. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.